Hey guys, Stephen here with another DIY musician guy video. In this video, I'm going to talk about how we can organise our music projects with an app called Trello. I've been using Trello for a couple of years now, and it only just occurred to me that you guys might find it helpful. In its basic form, you can think of Trello as a board where you move around sticky notes to show the progress of tasks that you're working on, but in a digital form. So let's jump in and have a look at it, and we can go through some practical real world examples too. But before that,
subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this.
Okay, Trello, in their own words, is a web-based project management tool. It's free to use, although you can pay for some upgrades if you like. I've never had to be honest. I think it's a great tool to use if you're in a band or collaborating with other musicians, or even on your own working on individual projects. It helps you keep track of tasks at hand so you can use your time more efficiently. We've all been there where you're within endless email threads with other people and the focus on the main task, recording music, finding gigs or promo tasks, stuff like that, gets lost. Well, this app can help you organise those tasks in a trackable workflow. Let's get into it. To get started, it's just a simple case of creating an account and away you go. So head over to Trello.com and hit the sign up button. You can then fill in the form and be ready to start using Trello. So this is our first Trello board. Let's go ahead and name it My New Board just for now. As you can see, I've already gone ahead and created 3 lists on new board to do, doing and done, just to get the whole concept across. You can easily move around any of these lists just by clicking and dragging them into each of the columns. You can also create a new list, obviously. I'll just make one I could use, for a place to archive my done list here. Obviously, make any lists you like, there are no rules. Now we've got a list sorted, or flow as I like to call it, you can go ahead and start adding cards to each list. Think of cards as tasks on your to-do list. I'll just go ahead and create a bunch of them now so you just get the idea. I'll skip ahead while I do this. Okay, now we've got a bunch of cards. Let's have a look at how we can add some more details to them. We'll just click on the top one for write a song, and from here you can see its title and what list it's currently underneath. You can add some extra info about the card in the description box like so. Okay, let's start by adding a bit of info about the tasks for this particular card, followed by selecting the checklist option on the right menu. We'll just change the default name just for fun. Now we'll go ahead and add some items to the checklist, such as lyrics, music and recording, that sort of stuff, just for this write a song example. And now we'll choose a label for the card, which we'll rename to songs. Labels are really good if you need to group certain types of cards or tasks. Last thing I'll mention in here is that you can add comments to the card, which is really ideal if you're collaborating with somebody else. For example, any band members, and they need to ask a question about the tasks at hand. Finally, clicking out of that, let's have a look at how we use this card in our flow we've just set up. So if I myself was working on this card, I'd move it over to the doing list because, I'm doing it, and then start working on it and going through all of those checklist items. You can see the progression bar fills up as you check the items off, which is really pretty cool. Okay, now imagining I've done all of that, I then move it over to the done list, as I could with any of the cards really. Now I can go into way more detail about all the awesome ways you can use the board with the cards and syncing with other apps and all that kind of thing, but I just wanted to get the main idea across. What you're getting here is a visual representation of your task's progress. The really cool thing is that you can invite other members or band members onto your boards, or even specific cards which they're going to be working on. And that's great because at a glance you'll be able to see just how well that project is going rather than being lost in text or email threads. Now remember, you can use it any way you want. I'm just showing you how I use it, and I'm going to go through some practical examples now, starting off with how a band may use it. Okay, for our first example, let's take a look at how a band could use Trello. I've set up a simple board just to illustrate how the Beatles could have used this back in the day when they were recording the Revolver album. As you can see, I've set out all the album's songs on the left column under the songs list, and the other lists on the board show the workflow. We'd start with a song, which we'd move over to the recording stage when it's ready to be worked on. Once all the recordings are done for that song, it'd then move over to the mixing stage, and then when that's done, to the mastering, and then finally it's over to complete. I've laid out the recording task within the track Taxman, so let's just pretend it's ready to work on. and I'll put it into the in progress list. We'll just have a quick look at the card itself and use this as an example. An important thing to note here is that you can add band members to the card, which makes sense if they have tasks to do on it. So for this example, we'll be adding, well, all of the Beatles. Let's pretend we've done that and they've got the notification that they're going to be working on this card, and they're going to have a look at their tasks basically. So George has recorded his lead vocals and lead guitar. John has just recorded his backing vocals and rhythm guitar. Paul has recorded his lead and bass guitar, and Ringo has recorded all his percussion parts. Now that's all done, let's click out and move it over to this mixing stage where we most likely get the producer to the card and he'd sort it all out, like George Martin or something like that. Let's just add a comment here saying so. Once that's all done, it move over to the mastering stage and so on. You get the idea now. For the next example, I'm going to go over the way a band may use it to keep up with promo tasks such as getting gigs and going for reviews, things like that. Okay, so this is a very simple board just to illustrate this point that you can use it for other things other than working on an album or something like that. So imagine the Beatles have just got this board and they need to somehow do some promo for their album, and they've made a reviews list and they're going through loads of magazines that they're adding here that they're going to message, and there's a big gig list here of all the venues they're going to get in touch with. These are all tasks, like the Caverns obviously there. So what they do is fill in these cards, put it into progress and done. So I've just filled in one, which is Rolling Stone magazine they might get in touch with, and I've done a little message there of something that Paul's written out. That this is just a test message he would say, and obviously I've put a couple of messages here to say, John doesn't think that's a good email, maybe work on it a little bit more, but he's also included a link to the Rolling Stones. But that should be in progress because it's being worked on, and until it is done, it'll go over there. That is it really. You can see the same thing with any of these. You can add other lists, so you might want to say something about the artwork or something like that, basically to kind of keep it separate from the other board, which is all about just the recording process. You could put everything on the same board, or I kind of like the idea of splitting them up because these are two different sets of tasks. So as you can see, it's quite versatile and kind of fun to use. I tend to use them for these videos as well, especially ones that require a lot of planning with extra videos and photos and things like that, because it gets all of the planning in one place. So that's Trello, and I'll leave it there. You might find a workflow that's better suited to you, so don't just go from my examples. I'm just showing you what kind of works for me at the moment. Do let me know how you get on and if you decide to use it, or if you found a similar type of tool that you quite like, then you want to pass on a recommendation. Anyway, hope that's been of some help to you, and as always, if you want to see more videos like this, especially about tools, workflow tools, stuff like that, then like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time on a DIY Musician Guide. I think I went the wrong way, didn't I? Usually go that way.